The federal government appears on track to shut down at midnight Eastern after the Senate rejected a bill to keep funding the government.
Yeah, it would be the first shutdown in nearly 7 years. Democrats and Republicans blamed each other today for not reaching a deal. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers could be furloughed, laid off. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in our newsroom tonight with this story. Amelia.
Heather, Steve, with no funding bill passed, the White House ordered federal agencies to implement shutdown plans. Democrat lawmakers are holding firm in their demand to prioritize health care costs now, not in the coming weeks, while Republicans are pushing for a continuing resolution that would keep the government open through November 21st. The new federal fiscal year begins tomorrow, October 1st. Until a funding bill or a continuing resolution is passed, government employees and operations not considered essential will be sent home until the government reopens. Earlier today, the Senate took a vote on a Democrat-backed alternative spending bill that would have funded the government for another month and extended health care subsidies of the Affordable Care Act. Democrats argue that premiums will rise sharply for millions of Americans if it's not extended. The bill failed to reach a majority of 60 yeas and did not pass. The Senate did the same on a Republican-backed bill that passed in the House as an interim spending bill that would fund the government through November 21st. Republican leaders say they are willing to come to the table on health care at a later date, but they are against an amendment in the current funding bill. This bill also failed to reach a majority of 60 yeas needed to pass.
There's no negotiation. It's a shakedown when he asked for $1 trillion for 4 weeks. It's absurd.
They've got to sit down and negotiate with Democrats to come to a bill that both parties can support. They didn't do that in the past. Their bill, they call it clean, we call it totally partisan.
During President Donald Trump's first term in office, a government shutdown lasted for 35 days. President Trump told reporters Tuesday that if a shutdown does happen, there could be federal workers who are furloughed that don't return to their jobs when the government reopens.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
For those who might be concerned about federal operations during a shutdown, Social Security checks will continue to be sent out, as will things like SNAP food benefits. The post office will still deliver mail, and the FAA and TSA will continue operations as those employees are considered essential. After several lawmakers addressed the issue on the floor, the Senate adjourned for the night and is expected to come back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Many experts say a short shutdown won't have major impacts on the economy, but that could change if the shutdown is drawn out. Heather, Steve?
All right, Amelia Jones in the newsroom. Thank you.